Do you ever wonder how food is linked to something like brain health or heart health, gut health, and longevity? Today, we're going to dive into Nutrition 2.0, next level nutrition habits. Because once you've got the basics down, it's not time to stay there, it's time to level up. In today's episode, I'm going to walk you through steps 5 through 8 of my nutrition mastery ladder. And this is a framework that I created to help you build lifelong, effective, and personalized nutrition habits to go from basic to elite. These 4 next level steps are the key to optimizing your health from the inside out, improving things, like I said earlier, heart health, brain health, gut health, and long-term inflammation. So whether you're ready to go beyond the basics or looking for new areas to grow, these are habits that matter most for the next stage of your journey. All right, you guys, I am excited about today. So last week's 10WT Tips episode was all about the foundation of nutrition habits, the first 4 habits that you need to implement when it comes to your eating habits to really lay the best foundation that are going to achieve 80, 85, 90% of the health and fitness results that you want to achieve. This is the episode where it's like, okay, if you feel like you're doing pretty darn good, you're eating enough protein, you're eating enough fiber, you're eating real foods, like you're doing most of the things that you should be doing. Like, of course, some nights, some weekends you're not doing great, like you're doing the 80-20 rule and stuff like that. This is for those people. You're already there and you're like, I feel like I can take this thing to another level. I feel like this is easy. This is natural. This has become a habit. And so now I'm ready to, what can I really do to link my plate to my long-term health, to link what I'm eating to my memory, to link what I'm eating to my heart health, to link what I'm eating to my gut health. And that's exactly what we're going to get into today. So I'm excited to help you guys, I'm excited to reveal to you guys these next level habits that are not really all that difficult to implement, but they do take intentionality. They do take maybe making some different decisions when it comes to building out your grocery list, when it comes to building out your meal plan. I'm excited to dive into the why behind all of them, the what behind each of them, and then the how much behind each of them to really get the results that you want to get. Before I dive in to the next 4 steps, the top 4 steps of the nutrition mastery ladder, the framework that I created, that's the step-by-step approach from going to basic to mastery when it comes to your eating habits. First off, listen to last week's episode if you didn't listen to it yet, if you don't know the first 4 habits. But also, the next 10WT goes from October 6th through December 12th. This is the last one of the calendar year of 2025, and I want to finish this year on a bang, and I hope you do too. So come join us. Go to nickcarrier.com/10WT to learn more, to sign up. Here in Nashville, we have the 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 10 a.m., and 6 p.m. groups. We also have the virtual 10WT as well that you can register for and get started whenever. Now is the time to take things to the next level. Go to nickcarrier.com/10WT to sign up today, and I would love to coach you, hold you accountable, hold you to a high standard, but have empathy around it, and get you to where you want to be. So go to nickcarrier.com/10WT. For now, let's dive into these next steps on how to take your nutrition habits to the next level. Okay, the first one, step 5 of the nutrition mastery ladder. So 1 was eat real food, 2 calorie management, 3 was fiber, 4 is protein, 5 is omega-3 fats. Now, why? Omega-3 fats are very anti-inflammatory. So to just give you a little bit of an information, 2 very general overview types of fats that there are is omega-6 fats and omega-3 fats. Both of them are essential fatty acids, meaning we need to get them from food. We do not make them ourselves. A typical ratio that the average American might consume in the standard American diet of omega-6 to omega-3 fats might be around 15-1. Obviously, everybody's going to be a little bit different, but the number that often gets reported is 15-1, sometimes up to 40-1 of omega-6 fats to omega-3 fats. And while omega-6 fats aren't in and of themselves unhealthy, it's the unbalanced ratio that makes them unhealthy and makes them pro-inflammatory. And the more ideal ratio that you want to have is a 4-1 or a 2-1 or maybe even a 1-1 ratio of omega-6 fats to omega-3 fats, because omega-3 fats helps to balance them out because they're anti-inflammatory. They're the yin to the yang of omega-6 fats that are pro-inflammatory. And why that's also so important, omega-3 fats help to improve our heart health. They help to improve our brain health, almost mostly in particular. Like I think about omega-3 fats, they improve a lot of different things, but one of the things that only they do that not very many other ingredients or nutrients in foods do is improve our brain health. They help to build new brain neural connections. And there's evidence that shows a decreased risk of Alzheimer's and dementia when you consume more omega-3s. So like I know for me personally, I've had Alzheimer's in my family. I always focus on getting enough omega-3s on a regular basis through fatty fish and through supplementation, which we'll get through here in a second. But it's also not just important for heart health, not just important for brain health, but also important for your cellular health, for your cellular function. I'm not going to get too deep into biology, but I'm going to get a little bit into it. So a lot of, we have our cell. And so for the sake of image, if you will, think of your cell as a circle, and then there's a cellular membrane, which is kind of the border or the barrier around that circle. And generally speaking, we want our cell membranes to be soft and permeable. Permeable meaning things can go in it and things can go out of it. It makes for a fluid transition of substances. And if people have unhealthy cells, that means they're hard and they're brittle. Things can't go in and out. And when we think about something like a term called insulin resistance is essentially our cells being resistant to the message that insulin is bringing to the cell to bring in glucose. So when we eat glucose, it goes into the bloodstream, and then insulin gets released by the pancreas. Insulin attaches to the cellular membrane, and it's supposed to be the transport thing that tells the cell, hey, bring glucose in to be used for energy. But if our cells are unhealthy, when insulin attaches to the cell's like, nah, I'm good. I'm not bringing any glucose in. So it keeps glucose in the bloodstream. That leads to a whole host of health issues. And so partly what can cause insulin resistance is unhealthy cells and unhealthy cellular membranes. What makes up cellular membranes is fat. One part of that is omega-3 fats. And so if we get enough omega-3 fats in, then our cellular health will be able to be improved. So that's why omega-3 fats are really important, and they're the step 5 of the nutrition mastery ladder. The what, like how can we make sure, or what foods can we eat to get enough omega-3 fats? It's primarily going to be fatty fish, because again, I'm not going to dive in too much in the rabbit hole of this, but there's 3 types of omega-3 fats. There's DHA, EPA, and ALA. ALA is the type of omega-3 fat that comes from nuts and seeds and plant-based foods, and those are great for anti-inflammation, anti-inflammatory properties. But DHA and EPA are what's most important for things like brain health and some of the other advanced things which I don't exactly know off the top of my head. But DHA and EPA are primarily what you want to make sure you're getting enough in when it comes to omega-3 fats, and you're primarily going to get that from fatty fish. So that's your what. How much of it? There's less defined research and less defined science that's going to tell you exactly how much you should get, because it's really hard to do a study on if you have this much omega-3 fats over the course of 20 years and you're going to avoid dementia. Like that's something that's impossible to kind of run a study on. But from the research that I've done, from the education that I've had, and from when thinking about the practicality of this, I like to think of it having at least 3 servings of fish per week, or fish oil supplements. And then a healthy ratio, like I said, of omega-6 to omega-3 appears to be somewhere around 4-to-1 or 1-to-1. And so you want to make sure that you could also look at the omega-6s that you're consuming. You can look up foods that are high in omega-6 fats. Primarily, it's oftentimes going to be like cooking spray, and start to limit those. So that's one way you can think about it. Another way that you can think about it is one way that I learned in terms of how much EPA and DHA that you should be getting is 1,800 milligrams of EPA per day and 1,500 milligrams of DHA per day. Or you could think 1.8 EPA, 1.8 grams, or 1.5 grams of DHA. And while I know a lot of you guys out there are probably like, I don't know what these letters are, those are big numbers. But if you Google or type into ChatGPT, whatever you want to do, how much EPA is in salmon, or how much DHA is in salmon, you can find it and you can look it up, and then you can be like, okay, I need to have this many ounces of salmon this many days per week, and boom. Because if you're somebody who's looking to implement these things, you got to put a little work in. And so let's go to work. That's omega-3 fats, the why, the what, and the how much. So we went through steps 5. Now it's time to go to step 6. Yeah, I feel like we had covered more than just one in this episode, but we're just talking a lot about omega-3s. Step 6, antioxidants and polyphenols. First off, why? Before we get into the what. Why? They reduce oxidative stress and improve your immune function. So one of the things that's important to understand is that inside of our bodies, we can have a buildup of something called free radicals. Free radicals are basically something that can harm our cells and cause our cells to function, to malfunction or to function less optimally and produce less energy and damage our mitochondria and things of that nature. And free radicals can come from bad foods. It can come from pollution. It can come from microplastics that we're consuming. It can come from candles that we have in our house. It can come from a bunch of different random things. And so oftentimes those things are unavoidable. We can limit those to a large extent, to some extent, but some of them is going to be unavoidable. So all of us are going to have some level of free radicals inside of our body. So there's free radicals inside of our body, but there's also antioxidants inside of our body. And when free radicals outpopulate antioxidants, then we're undergoing, we are experiencing what's called oxidative stress. And like I said, that can lead to malfunctioning of our cells and poor mitochondrial health. And so we want antioxidants to be greater than free radicals. And we can get antioxidants from colorful fruits and vegetables. We'll get into the exact what's here in a second. But reducing oxidative stress helps our cells to function better, more optimally, and it helps them to improve our immune system for those same reasons. Now, what do we think about? How can we get in more antioxidants and polyphenols? It's eating all of the colors of fruits and vegetables on a regular basis. Your red, orange and yellows, green, blue and purples, and white and brown. Because it's so cool that every color is responsible for different nutrients. It's responsible for different antioxidants, which are responsible for different things inside of our body, healing our body in different ways. And so when you get an array, a vast array of different colors, then you're providing different sources of healing and medicine, if you will, to our body. And then a lot of reds have similar types of antioxidants and similar properties, but you want to have different types of reds as well, right? Like you don't want to just have strawberries all day long. If we're talking optimally, you want to have strawberries and tomatoes and apples, right? Like radishes, each of these things are going to have their own properties, their own uniquenesses that help to heal our body. So the colors are red, oranges and yellows are similar bucket, greens, blue and purples are in the same bucket, and then whites and browns are in the same bucket. And when I think about how much, again, there's no definitive science that I've encountered that says you need to make sure that you have 3 greens each week. You need to have 4 yellows and 4 reds and all this stuff. Like there's no definitive science that says that. The way that I think about it is on 3 different levels: a beginner, intermediate, and advanced. Beginner, have at least 2 colors per day. Intermediate, have 5 colors per week. And advanced is have every color multiple times a week. So every color 2 times a week, maybe every color 3 times a week. It just takes intentionality. It takes purposefulness behind what you're putting into your mouth. So antioxidants and polyphenols by colorful fruits and vegetables. All right, we covered 5, we covered 6, we got 7 and 8 left. Let's get into 7. 7 is probiotics and fermented foods. This is one of those ones that is, I think, hardest to implement. So we'll get into the what here in a second, but why are probiotics and fermented foods so important? Well, one of the things that I mentioned in last week's episode is the very general outline of our gut microbiome. Our gut microbiome has 2 things that I feel like are important to know. Is we have a whole bunch of bacteria. I don't remember if it's millions or billions of bacteria in our gut microbiome, but we got a whole hell of a lot of them. Some are good, some are bad. Some cause inflammation, some are anti-inflammatory. That's the first thing I want you to know. The second thing is we have a lining around our gut that separates the interior of the gut from the bloodstream. We want that lining to be secure. we think about it as a wall. We want that wall to be secure. We don't want that wall to have holes. We don't want that wall to be able to be broken and entering. We want it to be nice and secure. So those are a couple of things to know about our gut. The good bacteria and the bad bacteria of our gut. The good bacteria, the way we populate our gut microbiome with good bacteria is by eating probiotic and fermented foods, because probiotics and fermented foods have live bacteria in them. And so we eat the live bacteria and then they live in our gut microbiome. And the way that we populate them is by having probiotic and fermented foods. And then to kind of like build on top of that, if good bacteria outweigh bad bacteria, then that's what we want. If bad bacteria outweigh the good bacteria, then they start to take over and they cause what can be called leaky gut or gut permeability, meaning that wall around our gut lining becomes permeable, becomes something that can be penetrated. There's holes in that wall. And when there's holes in that wall, then substances inside of the gut can go out into the bloodstream. And then the body is like, whoa, what is this? And it causes an inflammatory response, which can lead to a whole host of different issues. And so we want to make sure we populate our gut microbiome with good bacteria so that, one reason, we don't cause gut permeability leading to inflammation. And so that's kind of one of the main reasons why we want to make sure we don't have, that we are eating probiotics in our diet. And then what should we be eating to get these probiotic foods and fermented foods? Vinegar and salad dressings, Greek yogurt or yogurt, and you can also use that in dips and dressings. That's another way that you can get in Greek yogurt rather than just having a yogurt bowl, if you will. Pickled vegetables, sauerkraut, kimchi, kefir, temp. I mean, just to be completely honest with you, the way that I get it is sauerkraut sometimes, but yogurt primarily. And then vinegar and salad dressings every once in a while as well. So like things like, I've had kimchi before. It's hard for me to regularly implement that into my routine. I've never had kefir. I've never had temp. Kombucha is something that you can get probiotics from as well. However, some kombucha is really sugar laden and has a whole bunch of added sugars into it. So you want to make sure you read your ingredient label before putting a whole bunch of that added sugar into your body. And then how much? Same thing with these last couple. There's no definitive amount that I've learned. I've interviewed people on this, asked questions about this, researched this, and there's no definitive amount that I have learned that is most optimal. But to really get for most optimal, you would aim for maybe 1 to 2 servings per day or 5 or more per week. Again, this might be the most difficult. This is why it's like level 7 of the nutrition mastery ladder, because it can be something that is most difficult to get in, because in our culture, we don't add a lot of these foods into a lot of our meals, if you will. So that's number 7. Before I dive into the tip top of the nutrition mastery ladder, level 8 of the nutrition mastery ladder, I once again want to invite you to join the last 10WT of 2025, going from October 6th to December 12th. It is the way to put an exclamation point at the end of the calendar year. Again, a lot of you have made a lot of progress on your health and fitness goals this year. The last thing you want to do is throw it all away, because Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas are coming. Holiday parties are coming. Friendsgivings are coming. That's crazy to think about. Friendsgivings are coming. Don't throw it all away. Have somebody there to coach you, to empathize with you, to hold you accountable and hold you to a high standard so that you can finish off the year feeling great, not regretful of throwing it all away, and go into 2026 feeling great. So go to nickcarrier.com/10WT. You can join us in person. You can join us virtually. I would love to coach you to finish off 2025 strong. Okay. Step 8 of the nutrition mastery ladder, the last little bit, the top little bit of the pyramid is supplementation. Why is it the last little bit? Because you should not be focused on what supplements are best to take if you go through the McDonald's drive-thru 4 times a week. It's like, no matter how good your supplements are, if you're going through the McDonald's drive-thru 4 times a week, you're not going to be seeing progress on your health and fitness goals. And so supplements are to fill in maybe the small gaps, to add in some things that you're missing a little bit here and there. It's not to make all of the difference in the world for the most part for most people. You fill in the gaps. It can help boost performance in some instances, and it can help improve recovery in some instances and have other health benefits in some of the instances as well. And so I'm not going to dive into a ton of different supplements today. I'm actually going to dive into 4 of them that can be widely recognized as very safe for anybody and provide a lot of benefits to just about anybody. So the first one is whey protein. Not going to dive too much into all of the different brands and stuff like that. You just want to make sure you're not having a bunch of artificial ingredients in the whey protein that you're getting, so be careful of that. And then the other thing I'll mention is that there are two types of whey protein that I want to mention today. Whey protein concentrate, which is most popular, and it's not all that expensive, and it's easy to get well sourced for the most part. And then there's whey protein isolate. The reason why I say the reason why I want to mention that is because some people, their stomach doesn't agree with whey protein, and if your stomach doesn't agree with whey protein concentrate, it means you might have some lactose intolerance because of that. And so whey protein isolate is lower in lactose. It can help resolve the gut issues that you might have with whey protein concentrate. For me, like, I have a scoop of whey protein in my Greek yogurt bowl every single morning. That's kind of how much that I put into my day-to-day, and that's basically, I think it's 25 grams per scoop. So that's the first supplement I wanted to mention. The second is creatine. Full honesty, full transparency, I don't have creatine. I had creatine like a couple times when I was in high school, because in high school it was thought of like as something to really get big and strong with. But that doesn't mean I don't agree with it. That doesn't mean I don't think it's a great supplement. It's just something that I'm just not doing right now. But creatine can and has been studied more than any supplement that's out there. It has been shown to help improve your strength, improve your muscle mass, and improve your performance. And so I know for me, like, if I had a very big or if I had a very big performance goal, fitness goal that was probably like strength related or like muscle mass gain related, then creatine would be a supplement that I would probably entertain. And you would consume about 5 grams per day. And you would want to do that every single day for about a month to what's called fully saturate your muscle. I'm not going to dive into that, but that's creatine. The next one is vitamin D. Vitamin D is something that obviously most of us get from the sun. The sun needs to hit our skin for our body to produce vitamin D. And vitamin D is something that most people are deficient in. Most people have not enough, have too low of levels of vitamin D. And so the traditional recommended amount is anywhere from 1,000 to 3,000 IUs is the unit of measurement for vitamin D, 1,000 to 3,000 IUs per day. And depending on the supplement that you're getting, that might be, I think it's usually probably somewhere between 2 to 5 drops of vitamin D per day. And the last thing I'll say about vitamin D is if you're having vitamin D, you also want to probably have it with vitamin K2 because it's a fat soluble vitamin. Lastly, fish oil, omega-3 fish oil supplement, because it's hard. Earlier I mentioned the numbers of 1,800 EPA and 1,500 DHA when it comes to the recommended amount of omega-3s per day. That's hard to get in if you're not having fish at least one time per day. Now, if you're my wife, then you're having fish probably at least one time per day because she could swim with those things. She likes fish so much. I like fish, but I primarily like salmon, and I primarily like it 1, 2, maybe 3 times per week. And so in order to really hit that mark, I need to take an omega-3 supplement. And I do take an omega-3 supplement. I try to do it every single day. Like currently, as I'm recording this, full transparency, I'm out of it. I need to order it. Again, it's not like it makes me feel completely different in the moment, right? You're not going to feel a difference, but it's good for anti-inflammatory. It's good for long-term brain health. And so it's definitely something that I have myself and recommend for other people to take. So that is fish oil. And again, you want to make sure that you look at the amount of DHA and amount of EPA in the capsules that you're taking or in the liquid that you're taking. And you want to make sure that you get somewhere around 1,800 milligrams of EPA. I want to make sure I get that right. 1,800 grams of EPA, yep, and 1,500 milligrams of DHA for your fish oil. And then on top of that, like, don't have a bunch of fancy supplements just to have fancy supplements. Add in supplements based off of a need or based off of a deficiency rather than just like experimenting to experiment, right? Because supplements, the word supplement is to supplement. It's to add in addition to. And so you should add for the sake of deficiency, not add just for the sake of adding, because you can take a supplement that you don't need and it actually could cause some negative side effects, and you don't want that. So don't supplement just to supplement for the sake of deficiency. I hope you enjoyed today. Again, these are the next level habits. If you want to go back to the foundational habits, look at last week's episode on the 4 habits to first form on your nutrition journey. these are like next level. These are like, okay, what can I do to really master this thing to improve my brain health, my heart health, my gut health, and really make sure that what my food relates to my longevity, what I eat can contribute to my lifespan. It's following these things that we talked about today. Join me for the last 10WT of 2025 by going to nickcarrier.com/10WT. Other than that, I hope today helps you get closer to your health and fitness goals. And ultimately, I hope today helps you get closer and closer to your best you.